Welcome back to Tribe Talk, presented by Truist. With us is the head football coach at William & Mary, Mike London. And first of all, Coach, Towson coming to Zabel Stadium this weekend at 3:30. I know the team has worked hard this week in preparation for this one.
You think about what happened with the past game and the last opportunities to score thwarted, but at the same time, you got to move on. We're going to correct what happened, but move on to the fact that we have a very, very talented Towson team coming here, Zabel Stadium, 3:30. They're a very physical team, and we're looking forward to it. I mean, these guys are anxious and hungry for the next opportunity to taste what a W feels like again.
Just over halfway through the season, the Tribe 4 wins and 2 losses, 2-1 in league play. Can you kind of qualify your team for us, or give us a coach's view of what you feel like this team, the personality of it, if you will?
Coming out of the spring pandemic and the criteria and things like that, the way we had to practice and dividing guys up in groups of 10 to 15 and all those things. And then how the players overcame that, how we adjusted to having a new strength coach that came in. And so he took us through the summer, adjusting to the guys coming in and working out with the new strength coach in August, which led up into camp. So the mindset around here has been, kind of that so what, now what mentality, because we had to deal with adapting, adjusting, overcoming. What do you want me to do? How can I do it? And get it done, having this Zoom conversation that we're having right now. Who would have thought about it, 3-4 years ago, those types of things. So these are smart kids too. These guys are smart. They're getting a world-class degree here. And it's been really, it's fun to watch guys that also love the game that they play, that I've played. That's a game of football. So, we're ready for the challenges that have been presented.
So, speaking of overcoming, 2 weeks in a row, the Tribe started off slowly. I guess I should ask you that if you think that. And primarily, though, that second half in both games, they've risen to the occasion and played much better in the last 2 quarters.
Yeah, Jay. We started out defensively. They had 4 plays. We made them punt, and then then the turnover ratio things start happening. And we got to be better on third down situations, as we know, because then that extends the drive for us. On the other side, they were extending their third down, so they were having the ball longer. So, as we came back into the second half, we did a much better job in converting third downs and then stopping them on some of these occasions where we were able to get the ball back and then go score. We're able to, successfully have two 2-point plays run and be successful, and then just came a drive short on the 3-yard line and scoring a touchdown, to be really in the game there. So, it's a learning experience. You got to start fast. You got to do some things. Maybe there's some calls that coaches can make to get the players going. But, we recognize that and we see it. And that's why we have practice.
Coach, Donovan Lester, that third effort, if you will, to get that 2-point conversion, I thought that epitomizes not only the type of guy Donovan Lester is, but your team as well.
He is. Donovan is the epitome of what the team is about. He wants to play, but he wants to win. And he says, Coach, what's my role? And as you know, we have, several running backs that are pretty good. I think Donovan averaged over 8 yards per carry in the game. So did Malachi Emo. Bronson Yoder had over 6 yards. So that group of guys, they do other things, and we will get them the ball in their hand to be able to do other things because they've demonstrated through their performances that they can get it done. But Donovan has done a great job, thus far. I think he's special.
And a tip of the cap to that offensive line. 6 consecutive weeks, you've started a different offensive line, and yet William & Mary leads this league in rushing. Incredible.
It's a tribute to, Coach Samus, O-line coach, the mindset of that group, which is laden with seniors, fifth-year seniors, and having played in games, having a strength coach, getting bigger, faster, stronger, raising their football IQ with Coach Samus, and being dedicated to the running game has led to to some of the success there, and then the individual efforts for sure.
So Towson coming in, they come off a wonderful victory for that program over a top-rated, one of the top-rated teams in the country in Rhode Island. Both these teams like to run the football. It could be smash mouth Saturday at Zabel Stadium.
They like to run the ball, Jay. They will line up with 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends. They'll bring an extra lineman in a tight end position, and they'll run the ball. The formula for success was to run the ball against Rhode Island last week, and then keep their defense off the field. They did a good job of doing that. I've known Rob for a long time. There's probably going to be some trick plays here and there, but they are dedicated to saying, hey, we're going to run the ball right here. They got a quick, fast defense. One of their linebackers had a career day with multiple double-digit tackles. They're a good football. Look at who they've played. I mean, so it's like in this conference, teams are playing other good teams, FBS teams, and then some of the other high-caliber FCS teams, and then they're coming back and getting ready for CAA play. So, we feel confident that, we take care of what we need to do, then we can be on the positive side of things.
How important is it to win at home, not only this weekend particularly, but in overall in your program for the future success?
It's always important to have success and for it to be acknowledged in front of a fan base, in front of your supporters, in front of your family. Those things are always important. If we give in our competitive best and do the things that we're capable of doing, we feel good about the opportunities and the outcomes. But, they're a good team, as I said. And, for us, hopefully that the crowd, that the students, that the community come to the game and cheer us on, because it's nothing like looking at in the stands and seeing the fan base up there getting up and getting rowdy. So hopefully that's what we'll see on Saturday.
Thanks, Coach, and good luck.
Thanks, Jay.
Neighborhood.
Everything you know about Colonial Heritage is true. A beautiful golf course with exquisite dining and superb event space. But this is also true. You don't have to live there to play, dine, or celebrate there. So let Colonial Heritage be your host for a round, a meal, or a gathering. It's all true. You don't have to live there to enjoy being there. At Colonial Heritage, golf memberships are available. ColonialHeritageClub.com.
What does tomorrow look like? That's really up to us. By exploring what's ahead and learning from where we've been, we find ways to care and teach ourselves and others how to heal so that we can make life better by design.
Welcome back to Tribe Talk, presented by Truist. With us is Julie Leach, a 1999 grad at William & Mary, a former basketball player. When she ended her career, she was amongst the top 5 in scoring in William & Mary basketball history. Julie, thanks so much for joining us. We got a ton to talk to you about today, but thanks for your time.
Jake, I'm glad to be here. Thanks for having me.
Julie, let's start right from the top. Your current position, executive director of the William & Mary Foundation. What exactly is that, and what do you do?
Sure. Great question, Jay. Thanks for asking it. I've had a number of roles here at William & Mary. This current role as executive director of the William & Mary Foundation is something very meaningful to me. It's something I've done now for the past 2 years and have learned a great deal about the university, and have had the opportunity to work with incredible volunteer leaders from our alumni and parents. We have the William & Mary Foundation Board. We have 40 volunteer leaders from different eras that contribute and advise us both on philanthropy and then the investment of our fund, our endowment fund. So the William & Mary Foundation currently holds or manages over 3/4 of the university's total endowment. So it really provides vital resources to the university year in and year out. And it's been just an incredible experience for me to really broaden my experience with William & Mary. So much of my career and time at William & Mary has been involved with athletics, and this has been a great opportunity to work with leaders like Matthew Lambert and Amy Sebring on the important work that really touches our entire university.
So coming full circle, you spent a number of years with your husband, Mike Leach, who spent 16 years in the National Football League. Mike, a wonderful graduate of William & Mary as well. And then when you all moved back to Williamsburg, you really got involved full speed with Tribe Athletics. And one of the questions would be, why? What drew you back to athletics, and particularly William & Mary?
Mike and I both have shared often that William & Mary changed our lives for the better. We both attended William & Mary on athletic scholarships, obviously Mike for football and me for basketball. And we've shared with many folks that opportunity really allowed us to attend a world-class institution. It changed our lives for the better, it changed our kids' lives for the better, and hopefully their kids' lives for the better. And so for us, it was really important when his time with the NFL came to an end that we got to a place and were able to give back to a place that gave so much to us. And so for me, and the work I do, some of the work I do with athletics, and then obviously, as I just mentioned, with the William & Mary Foundation, trying to raise support to give those kind of opportunities for future students to impact their lives in a positive way, just like William & Mary impacted us in such a positive way. That's really the hallmark of why we returned and why we wanted to work with the university.
Among the many hats you wear, you're doing the color for the streaming of women's basketball games on Flow Sports. You still have that passion for basketball, don't you?
I do. It's fun for me. It's been such a big part of my life, and as I just mentioned, it really allowed me the opportunity to come to William & Mary. So the athletic part of me, even as I get older, just doesn't leave me, and it's a nice way to stay connected to the game. And we have Mike and I have 2 children, both involved in sports, and our daughter is really into basketball now. She's a 13-year-old. And so that's been fun for me to help, guide her and coach her a little bit. And again, to have that touch point with the broadcasting with William & Mary basketball has been fun for the both of us to experience.
I want to ask you about the All In campaign, but before getting to that, right now you're assisting the new athletic director at William & Mary, Brian Mann, in what can only be called a transition in a lot of different ways. How is that going, and what is your role there?
Sure. Brian, first of all, I'll start off by saying Brian Mann is a fantastic human being, a wonderful addition, and a wonderful leader for William & Mary Athletics. It has been a true joy to get to work with him, get to know him better. There are a lot of moving parts right now, which is commonplace when an athletics leadership transition takes place. And so, with some of the deep connections I have, both as a former student athlete here at William & Mary, but then also my work with William & Mary, it just made a lot of sense for me to help out in this interim period. Brian and his team are currently interviewing and will be hiring soon a new director of development for athletics. So in this interim period, I'm helping Brian out with setting up some visits for him with our key donors and alumni, and helping with several folks of our advancement team to oversee the All In campaign in this interim period.
So All In, I don't know who came up with the phrase, but it's certainly an appropriate one. You're looking for as many or everyone to be at some level contributing members of this university.
It's a critical moment for the athletics department. Fundraising and philanthropy will always be important for higher education and athletics and collegiate athletics. But really, we're at a moment now that we do need everyone to be all in. And, as cliche as that might sound, I think it's an appropriate name, not only for our former student athletes and supporters and community members to donate and support their program, maybe that they feel most closely aligned to, but also look at the bigger picture and support the university and the athletics department as a whole. And we're seeing a great response to that call for help, and really, appreciative of everyone's support, but also at the same time highlighting the need for continued support. The campaign is scheduled to run through June 30th of 2023. Happy to report that there's a $55 million total goal. We have raised just over $24.4 million to date. So we're certainly on our way, but we'll continue to need the community's support to reach our goals.
Julie Leach, Executive Director of the William and Mary Foundation, has been our guest today on Tribe Talk. Thanks a lot, Julie. And I know you join me, as always, in saying go Tribe.
Go Tribe. Thanks, Jay. Appreciate it.
If these times have taught us anything, it's that anything is possible, especially at our public schools. Overcoming great adversity, we salute our teachers and students who brought their A game every day. Whatever tomorrow brings, our commitment to public schools is stronger than ever. A win for education. The Virginia Lottery. $11 billion to Virginia's public schools since 1999.
Fun fact, Mountain Dew and spicy chicken is the perfect combo.
Does it look like I don't know that?
Okay. Didn't mean to ruffle your feathers.
We both did the employee training, Gary.
Okay, don't jump down my beak.
Doing spicy? Do the do.
Why live alone when you can live connected? Move to Williamsburg Landing, the area's premier continuing care retirement community, and expand your social network. Join friends for dinner at the Cove Cafe. Get moving at the Health Club and Spa. Enjoy the many programs and activities. Williamsburg Landing. Your life, your style, your plan. Call today or visit williamsburglanding.com.
We are Growth for Virginia, a grassroots campaign bringing together students, parents, employers, and educators. We believe talent is what sets Virginia apart. We believe in providing all Virginians affordable pathways from learning to earning. We believe innovation and investment in our standout higher education system can make Virginia America's talent leader. Together, we're asking our leaders to make transformational investments in our future and a stronger Virginia.
The William and Mary Student Athlete of the Week, presented by the Virginia Lottery, recognizes Tribe student athletes for their standout efforts in competition, the classroom, and the community. This week's William and Mary Student Athlete of the Week, presented by the Virginia Lottery, is women's swimming senior Missy Cundiff. Cundiff was voted as the week's award winner by the William and Mary fan base via social media polls on both the @Tribe Athletics Twitter and Instagram accounts. Men's soccer player Diva Nwibo, women's soccer player Zoe Doughty, and men's cross-country athlete Jacob Jones were also finalists for the award. Cundiff led the Tribe to a dominant season-opening victory over Johns Hopkins last Saturday in Baltimore, winning all 4 events she swam. Missy is an accounting major, a member of the National Honor Society, and an officer in both the Science and English National Honor Societies.
Everything you know about colonial heritage is true. A beautiful golf course with exquisite dining and superb event space. But this is also true. You don't have to live there to play, dine, or celebrate there. So let Colonial Heritage be your host for a round, a meal, or a gathering. It's all true. You don't have to live there to enjoy being there. At Colonial Heritage, golf memberships are available. ColonialHeritageClub.com.
What does tomorrow look like? That's really up to us. By exploring what's ahead and learning from where we've been, we find ways to care and teach ourselves and others how to heal so that we can make life better by design.
At William & Mary, we strive to be more than we are and to do more than we've ever done. Here, we do not live in the shadows of the giants of American history that we helped to shape. We stand on their shoulders, reaching higher, looking further, and leading the way forward. To be a place where history happens every day, and to be a university for the bold.
Welcome back to Tribe Talk, presented by Truist. This is Jay Colley, and with us is the head men's basketball coach at William & Mary, Dane Fischer. And Coach, it's not going to be long before the opening tap of this coming basketball season. I know you and your staff, and particularly your players, are anxious to get it going.
Yeah, you got that right, Jay. We are super excited for the start of this season. It's been great just being back on campus here in the fall and having a much more normal preseason and getting ourselves ready to go here. So the guys are fired up and our staff is as well.
Yeah, I don't know what, we're going to reference, the previous season a little bit as we go forward. But what did you take out of what was a shortened season last year for you?
Well, I think there were a couple of things. Number one, we obviously had a pretty young team outside of Luke Lowy. A lot of new faces and guys that got some pretty good playing experience, and it was great. But I think probably the biggest thing we took of it was just the overall perspective of how much we really enjoyed doing this in a much more normal environment. And last year was a challenge for a variety of reasons, but I think that just the idea of being able to come into this season and being excited to be under much more normal conditions is something that we're probably realized from last year more than anything.
Quinn Blair being potentially the guy with the seasoned veteran, if you will, on this team.
Quinn certainly has the most, playing experience of guys we've had over the course of a career, and then we obviously had some sophomores this year that got a ton of time last year. Yuri Covington being one of them, and obviously Connor Kuchera. Those two had terrific years for us last year as freshmen. So we've got some other younger guys that we're going to probably look to build with here a little bit this year and see where we can get this team to go. But it should be an exciting group.
What kind of personality do you think this team has, albeit you haven't seen them against anybody else but themselves?
Well, I think one thing with this team that's been great is that everybody's come in and really competed hard. And, this is top to bottom, probably the most talent that we've had in terms of our overall depth. Since I've been here, we certainly don't have anybody, like Nathan Knight heading into his senior year. But 1 through 15 on this roster is really competitive, and that's been really good for our practices. I think guys have really expanded their games and really improved as players, and a lot of that I think has to do with the competition that we have in practice every day.
Yeah, I've been to some practices, and it is a heightened urgency, I think, for guys to get better because, by the way, everybody wants playing time.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And, one of the best ways to get players better is to bring in more talent that's going to push everybody along the way. And like I said, there's been some great responses to that as a team and as individuals. And as we continue to navigate through this season, I think that, the competitiveness of our practices will really help us in terms of improvement as a team.
Let's talk about maybe not necessarily player by player, but position by position. And let's start at the 5 spot where Ben White comes back with a ton of experience, and Mikel Harvey obviously continues to improve as well. Mikel, by the way, entering his senior year.
Yeah, those two guys did a great job last year for us. Just kind of, going back and forth to that 5 spot. And Ben was a little bit more of an offensive threat and a guy that could really help us run offense. And Mikel was obviously terrific anchoring our defense. was named to the all-defensive team for the CAA last year, and a guy that can really protect the rim and rebound. And then we've added a freshman named Langdon Hatton, who has got a real offensive ability. He can score around the basket. He can stretch it out to three. And is a guy that I think is going to push for some pretty good playing time as a freshman.
How about that, the number one position, the shooting guard, and the shooting guard position, the ones and twos, are they commingled in your system?
Yeah, they are a little bit, and I think that we've added some really good depth to that position, namely in our freshman Tyler Rice. He's probably the most natural point guard that we have on our roster, and I think that was one thing that we certainly struggled with last year. So I think he's going to give us a much needed boost in that spot, a guy that can handle the ball and run the offense and get others involved. I think it's going to give us some flexibility to move Yuri off the ball at times and let him be more of a scorer, which I think he does best. And then you've got Reiners Hermanowskis, who's done a great job this offseason and show another guy that can give us a little bit of depth there. And then obviously Connor Kuchera, the season he had last year playing primarily as kind of a 2 and a 3 was really good for us and will be a guy that we'll lean on quite a bit this year.
Coach, other than the CAA schedule, want to bring up the fact that you've got Old Dominion, Hampton, and Fairfield coming to Williamsburg's Kaplan Arena. A lot of reasons to buy season tickets this year to support Tribe men's basketball.
Yeah, there really are. I mean, I think the first thing when you just look at this group, it's a group you want to root for. The way that they're going to play the game together, we'll play incredibly hard. We'll play unselfish basketball. We'll be the team that when the guy goes to the floor, everybody's rushing over to pick him up, and the bench is always involved and support one another. So I think there's a look to the team that's really important. There's a lot of really good young talent that I think people are going to be really excited to watch, and then throw in the fact that no one was able to watch these games last year, and we didn't have any fans in this building, and our first year here as a staff, we led the league in attendance, and we had an unbelievable following, and people really enjoyed the game atmospheres. Our first home game is Friday, November 12th against American, which is the day before football plays James Madison at home. So that should be a great weekend on campus, and we hope everybody can be here for our opener and then go over to support football on Saturday.
Well said, Coach. And by the way, November 10th for Tribe fans is the opening game of the season at Wake Forest. So you got that ACC tune-up, if you will, to begin the season. Quite a schedule this year. Thanks so much for joining us, Coach, and continued success on the hardwood here at William & Mary.
All right. Thanks, Jay. I appreciate it.